Hello, guys. This is my dark spot, and I'm Brankica. I have a big pleasure of meeting Emma of Gaupa. Hi, Emma. Thank you so much for joining me. And how are you today?
Hey, so nice to meet you. I'm very well today. So stoked to be on your show.
Thank you so much. It means a lot to me, because I'm very, very, very into your band. And I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm so nervous, but I hope that it will not be noticeable.
No, it's all right. No need to be nervous. I'm nervous as well.
Oh, okay. It makes things easier, I guess. Okay, nice. And when I first heard about your band, I was hugely impressed. I was like, whoa, what was this? I was really, really, amazed. And it's a
Thank
unique
you.
blend of sounds. You're welcome. And it is perfectly combined. So tell me more about the combining those and how hard it is, considering the fact that you all participate in creation process. I watched your earlier interviews, and you told me you're all just like jamming in the studio, and what comes up comes up. And I think it's the best, most natural process ever. What can you say about that?
Well, it varies a lot who comes up with like the first fragment of a song. Sometimes someone will come with a riff and then we're gonna mull it over and we're going to jam in the rehearsal pit. Sometimes I improvise some vocals, and other times I will record on my phone, and then I will put the music recording into my home studio, and then I will jam by myself at home in the studio, just to try out some vocal ideas. And so that's one thing that happens a lot. And see, everyone contributes, as I said, into the writing process. Everyone is a songwriter, so you never know which direction a song will take. It's I tend to say it's like planting a marshmallow and harvesting a balloon, because that's really how it is.
Nice, nice. Yeah. And the final product is amazing, seriously.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And tell me more about your musical background and how you developed your skills, your vocal skills over the years.
I think everyone in the band has different musical backgrounds, educational, and also what we're influenced by. For me, I guess I do a lot of songwriting in the studio. So I play guitar, but just well enough to play on a bit of in a recording. So I don't do it live. And then you sort of combine and write songs in the studio. That's how I've been working on songwriting. And when I was like, I don't know, 16, I started to practice on my vocals a lot. I think I practiced, it was like 3 hours a day or something. So I'm very into vocalists, strong vocalists, like Etta James, Ella Fitzgerald, Mark Lanigan, PJ Harvey.
Wow,
and obviously
that's my
Björk.
jam.
Yeah,
My
and
jam.
Björk, of course. Yeah.
Nice, nice. You also have that kind of a bluesy vocal. I was like, oh my God, like, damn, this is so perfect. Like, I can't wait how it's going to sound like, live, to feel that, that's very powerful. And what can you tell me about those blues elements? I think a lot of people are trying to put a label or something constantly, but in fact, I'm just trying not to put people in that box, because there is so much more to it than when you just say, okay, it's like a stoner, doom, blues. I don't know, like, there's so much more to it, actually. So how do you combine all those blues elements and the vocal? I mean, it must be hard, like hard work, to make something good as it is.
Yeah, but it comes quite naturally.
Yeah.
You just my vocals aren't like they are a little bit all over the place.
No, they're just like they should be.
Yeah, well, so I just sing and I phrase lines how I want to, and it comes very natural just to try different things out, and it varies also, of course, to what sort of background I have.
Yeah.
If someone has written like a ballad part, then I will work with that. But if we have like a snappier tune, then you might want to sing a bit faster, or you want to flow over the riffs and everything. So I guess it varies a lot how you go about it. But I love blues is very nice, isn't
Yeah.
it? When it's
Yes.
like, well, you get some great swag, and it's
Yeah,
I
definitely.
like that.
Yeah, and also I have noticed, I suppose, not sure about your influences. We'll come to that later, I guess. But I recognize that kind of emotion. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't like to compare people and bands. I just like want to speak about the emotions. That kind of emotion that Lane from Alice in Chains. Like,
Mhm.
he was such a powerful vocalist to me, and
Mhm.
like I unbelievable. And I have noticed that kind of energy in your
All right.
songs. Yeah, seriously.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
I never thought about that, but thank you. That's a
Yeah.
compliment.
Yeah, thank you. How do you feel about that? And I mean, do you feel like they kind of influenced you? At least, I'm not sure if you have listened to them, if you like them, but do you feel like it kind of influenced you a bit? That kind of energy and his vibe, he had before.
For me, I don't think it's been that much of an influence, but I enjoy the work,
Yeah,
and I think everyone in the band has different influences, and when it comes together, when everyone contributes to the songwriting, then you will bring different parts from different bands you've listened to, projects you've been in before, and things you just come up with. So I think it's just a giant pot cooking when
yeah,
you create. But it's
exactly.
but I think it's when we play live, it's quite energetic. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
we try to I try to play every gig like it could be the last gig you ever did, because
yeah,
sometimes then there's COVID and
yeah,
you couldn't do any more shows, so that was actually a last show. So I
yeah.
think you should try to have as much fun as you can when you play live, and then I guess it's quite you get a lot of energy to play music live, but you give also a lot of energy, or at least you try to.
Yes, and I like that philosophy. Like, it can also be connected with the way of living. Just live like every day is your last, because it might be okay. I think it maybe sometimes sounds scary. It can sound scary to other people, but in fact, you never know what is going to happen, right?
Mm, that's
Yeah.
true.
That's true. And tell me about that, that whole process. I know how you get inspiration, and that you jam and you just go with that naturally. But in what ways does inspiration come to you? Like, it's a little bit of complex thing, I believe. How does it come to you, and what does the process of implementing it look like for you?
It's very different from time to time, I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
So if you're lucky, sometimes you just get an idea, like a piece of lyric, and you write it down, and you just get an idea how to sing this line, and you record it, and you write in your phone, and you start collecting puzzle pieces. You you collect lines and phrases, and sometimes it just falls out of you, but most of the time you sit down and you do the work. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm gonna sit around and wait for inspiration to strike, because it might not. You need to also treat it like any other job.
Exactly.
You have, especially when you're in a band, because other people depends on you that you do your part. So I need to be, if we have like the skeleton of the song, then I need to try some vocals and have quite a good idea what I should do before, example, David can do some guitar, dreamy guitar. So he needs me to be done for him to take the torch.
Yeah. Nice. Yes. And I just wanted to ask, when you mentioned the lyrics, so I suppose everyone, every person of the band has, participation in this part, I guess, right? And
in the lyrics?
Yeah, or writing lyrics. Or it's just you. It's just you, yes?
It's mostly me. At times, someone have brought like one line or something, and sometimes we discuss it. But mostly it's me who write the lyrics. Yeah.
And when I take a look at the lyrics, they are so unreal, like totally surreal. A lot of metaphors. And I wrote some poems, but I'm not gonna publish it. It's just like I'm probably too shy, and it's just something like when I get inspiration.
Do it, publish.
Thank you for the support.
Yes, of course.
Like, oh my God, like finally when I see someone thinks the same way I do, like that's awesome. And where did you I think it looks like some of the songs are pretty much personal, so which songs stand out for you, like, and which ones are the most cathartic to you?
That's a really good question. I think it's inevitable that you bring stuff from your own experiences into your music, your art, your paintings if you paint, and your words if you write. But then I think you have a choice how much you want to be outspoken about exactly what it's about. I like the dreamy, you cannot know exactly what songs are about all the time. I enjoy others' lyrics and poems when the lyrics is quite strong and could be just the lyric without the music and without the singing. So the words and the composition is okay by its own. And I think I have a different relationship to a lot of songs. For me, I would say that the Swedish track Sömnen on the Myriad album is quite special because it's the first lyric ever that I actually finished in Swedish, in my native tongue. So that was strange, but very nice. And I enjoyed writing the whole lyric in Swedish as well. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's very, very cool to hear. And tell me about that relation. Can you compare the art you like, the books, the movies? You can talk to me about the relation of that to your music and to yourself as well. I heard you also work, I'm not sure if you work now at the bookstore. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah.
Oh,
so
nice.
I have access to a lot of books.
Wow, okay, that's great. Yeah, you can tell me more about that and how it reflected on your music.
Yeah, I think when it comes to writing, I think it's good to keep at it, to read books and watch movies to get your imagination going, but also to hear how others write and to you learn when you through what someone else has been doing before you. as you can do with the music. If you listen to a song and it's like, this is really good, I would like to do something like that, quite. But you know, you get influenced by a lot of things, like movies and books. And for me, I've never been much of a reader because it was hard for me to concentrate.
Same here.
I don't have a lot of concentration for reading. I read one page and then it's like, yeah, but I didn't get anything of that because I was just looking at the words. So I start over and the same again. But as an adult, I practice to read for fun, just to work with words and writing and language and so forth. And I practice just to keep evolving, I would say. And like sometimes you hear a word and you have to look it up. What does it mean? How do you use it? And it's like, yeah, and you think about this word and maybe you can use it, because sometimes you find like a word or a phrase that really speaks to you and that you like. And then you have to think, how can I work this into something of my own?
Yeah, interesting answer, really. Yeah, I like that. And tell me, what is the most challenging thing in the studio while recording? What is the most trickiest thing to deal with, to say that way?
In the studio, for me, it's been we've been entering the studio for the recording of the EP and the first album, Feberdum. And at that time, I wasn't quite finished with all the lyrics or how I was going to sing. So that was a bit stressful. On Myriad, I had actually finished everything. And that was so nice, a lot smoother to just walk into the studio and have like some idea of what you're going to do. But then, of course, there's a lot of improvisation in the moment as well. So I think, I don't know, was that an answer?
I mean, yes. It's okay. Of course, you can add anything you wish. Of course, it's cool. How do you feel now when you compare, like your first release, your demo, to the newest release? How does it feel like? Because I've spoken to so many artists and a lot of them be like, oh my God, what I did, like, like the first album or demo, like whatever, like, I don't like it. It's not, but I'm always that person that likes that. I was like, first albums or demos, they're the best. Like you get that usually, raw sound, which is nice. And you can easily see how the band is progressing nicely, through the ages. But what can you say about that? Do you feel like, how do you feel about all that now when you think of it?
I'm proud of what we released.
Yeah.
Of course, there's some songs that I like better than other songs, but we still play like Febersvan live, and the Drunk Octopus Who Wants to Fight You.
Yeah, crazy song. I love it.
These songs we play them at, I believe, every show we ever did. And then from the second album, we used to usually play Vacuum, for example.
I love that one. Oh.
So I think I think it feels all right to look back. It's okay, but I'm very, very happy with the way Myriad turned out. I think it's the strongest altogether release we have done. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's like the how do I say, usually the latest release is like the review of the previous releases, but like more progressive, let's say, to if I can say that. How do you feel about that? I mean, there are definitely, you added more elements. And also, I wanted to ask you about the instruments you use. Do you use some? I feel like there's some instruments I probably know nothing about, but it feels nice and it takes you to the other places. Like, when you just listen to that in the dark, it's amazing. So what kind of instruments do you like to use, those additional instruments to create a special atmosphere?
As a band?
Well, yeah, in your songs, because there are so many instruments, I cannot really recognize all of them when I'm listening to it, but it creates amazing atmosphere to me.
We do a lot of add-ons, like different tracks of guitar, and the guy that has recorded everything we ever recorded, he's a great friend of ours, and we feel very comfortable and safe to work with him. I think that helps, because then you're free to try some things out. And he's also very good when he adds different sounds, and we try different way to make the instrument sound. But I think mostly we have the instruments that we play live. That's mostly it. And sometimes I will do a vocal piece that in the mix might sound as a guitar. So you don't know, and you don't need to know, because it's woven together, hopefully quite good.
It's more than good, trust me, because when I was playing that to my friends, they were all like, oh my God, it's nothing like we ever heard like recently. You can say, okay, some influences, but it's not like you cannot really compare it. Like, it's totally unique, something really refreshing.
Thank you. I think it's hard to do something completely new, because a lot of things have already been done, but to put different things together might be refreshing. So you try to do something that you like to do, and
that's it. Definitely. It's also, that was a question I wanted to ask you about. How challenging is it, to create something unique that stands out from everything else you ever heard?
I have absolutely no idea, because I don't know if we ever done that.
Because you did. That's why I was like, okay, how do they do that? Because
not intentional. No, I think this is just, we are quite, we work a lot, of course, on the music and on our instruments, but we're quite lucky to have this constellation of people and musicians and songwriters that we are to, when we come together, it happens, it just happens, and we try every idea at least once, and sometimes it's not a very good idea, but at least we tried. And this makes, when we build a puzzle of a song, then sometimes it changes a bit in the song. It's a lot going on, and it takes different directions that you didn't expect. And I think this is because maybe I wrote this part, and then you write another part, but we put it together and we stitch it together, and then it becomes just what it is.
Nice. You, as you said, you never planned to do that, but I suppose also connection with your bandmates, good connection, stable connection, and mutual understanding, and probably that great energy is very driving, and it helps you create something very different. It's just like how you all work. I believe it's, in this case, if the connection is that way, it's way easier than when people are stressed, you know what I mean, and when they just have to do the job. How do you feel about all that and that connection with your mates? I suppose you hang out together, probably go to see movies, you have a good time together, right?
Well, nowadays we mostly have meetings planning the tour. But I like them very much. They are great guys, and I feel very lucky to play with them. They are great musicians, and they're good people. And in the end of the day, you would like, I would rather play music with a nice person than a douchebag. That's like the most important thing, that people are nice. And
Yeah.
you work on communication, especially when we come from different musical educational backgrounds, because we don't speak the same musical language. We didn't at first, but we try to work it out so we understand each other and listen to what everyone has to say. And I think it's important to try to hear everyone out. And yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge step to progress, I believe. And also, as a female vocalist, I really find this important, and I believe you will do too. So, as a female vocalist, did it ever happen that you would struggle, like in this, let's say, industry? Because I feel like we, like women, we have to work way more harder, than we should probably in order to to be successful or something. How do you feel about all that? And what do you think, if we could do something better, to raise awareness of that, and that we should be treated equally, what could we do?
I would say that it's very important to support your musical sisters.
Yeah.
And because we're raised as women and girls, we're raised to compete. If someone is pretty, that means that I'm not pretty. If someone sings very well, then I don't sing very well. And this is false. It's not a competition. It's absolutely not a competition. Everyone can be good, and it's not a threat. You shouldn't be threatened by other women, but you're taught to be threatened by other women, right?
Exactly.
When we grew up. But I think it's very important to support women in the arts who write and who create, because sometimes people will not be very nice, and that is just awful. So I think the first step is to that we support each other. We've been out with Gaupa. I haven't. It's been all right. I haven't been mistreated by anyone so far, so that's very nice. I would really like to just add that. But I think, as we were talking about, just supporting each other, and yeah, that's very important.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah. And now I was also thinking about doing something, this way. If I can get more female artists to my channel, it would be amazing. Yeah,
Yes.
I really feel that's important. So if you know any of them, just pass them a message, and I will gladly interview them and promote them as well. Yeah.
I will think about this and hook you up.
Okay.
With some fantastic women. Yeah.
Nice, great. You're always welcome, of course. And I have an interesting question. So, what are your thoughts on early psychedelic rock and how it reflected on you?
What era would you say you think of?
Well, maybe, okay, let's say, what about Pink Floyd? Like, but the beginning, because I'm like a huge, massive fan of Sid Barrett, of course. And I'm constantly arguing with my friends, who is better. I mean, generally, they are great band, but I feel what they achieved with Piper at the Gates of Dawn, I mean, that's something you record in 1 million ages, because they basically broke all the rules they could, and it's so like some kind of a twisted dark fairy tales traveling into some dark space, and it's just brilliant. How do you feel about that? I mean, or you can mention some other bands you find interesting, of course.
I'm actually a sucker for old rock music. So it makes me very happy that you mentioned this. Yeah. Well, it's just they did it. They did so much cool stuff back then. I think it might have been hard to be a woman at that time as well. But to the world and how the world was, and a lot of women were not working. And people, they were working from being housekeepers and working to create a home. So I think we have a lot of more freedom today over in general, women.
Yeah.
And I think that's one part of it. But I really like the psychedelic photos and artwork and movies, and I think the world needs more of the psychedelic art. I don't think that it has to be created while high or drunk. You don't need to be on drugs. You could be super psychedelic and be sober as well. I have a friend that is a movie maker, and we worked with him on the video for Ra. I don't know if you've seen it. There's a lot of balloons in this video, and he is he's never taken drugs in his life, and he does so psyched out art, photos, and videos, and people are always going to be like, yeah, well, he takes a lot of drugs. That's just general assumption, but he does not. He's just very flipped out.
It's just creative, like as I said, people, you don't really need to do any of it. It's just about your imagination. It's just like if you read a lot, if you're into art, into movies, into and you just pick up all those ideas, and you wake up in the middle of night with some crazy idea, because you constantly you pick up something, and it's just like it stays inside, and when it explodes, okay, it can be good and bad, but I'm like huge fan of, like, I don't know, writing a diary. I know how it sounds, but you have to express all those emotions.
Yeah.
And it can be some kind of a healing as well, and you heal yourself like through painting, through music. I found that for me, it was much more helpful than honestly going to the therapist. I know people can hate me because of this, but I think first we need to do some kind of introspection to see what's really going on. And then, of course, I'm not saying anything bad against the therapist. If the problem is big, and of course, we can go there. It's even necessary sometimes. What do you think about all that?
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
This is very well put, I must say.
Thank you.
I think to be able to work through your inner chaos or thoughts or emotional life, it's very lucky if you can express yourself through some kind of art. If you paint, if you write, if you create something, because I think it contributes to your well-being.
Exactly.
You're gonna feel better. And when I've been singing, for example, and I, scream a lot, and then I'm like, oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's all right now.
Feels like a therapy, right?
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah.
And I think people that don't have a creative outlet might, I don't know, maybe they end up being trolls on the internet, hating everyone else, maybe because they didn't create anything of their own, might be.
Yeah, it's all about, like you mentioned, it's all about those suppressed emotions, and they really create a lot of negative energy, which turns into disease, and even physical ones, because I believe most of the diseases have that kind of relation, with that, suppressed emotions that are not that are not healed properly. So you all see all those kind of projections of those unhealed emotions onto other people, and it became some kind of an unhealthy environment. You know what I mean? And it can be even detrimental to some people. A lot of people were committing suicides, especially here, in my country. And it was so sad to hear, and they were bullied a lot. They were shamed publicly on the internet. So I feel, okay, internet like is a good place where you can meet people. Like this situation today is very beautiful, but generally, I still believe it can be very dangerous, and maybe it gets more dangerous. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think people should at least try to be nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
each other. Just if you have, when you have like a very hateful thought or opinion, you don't need to tell everyone, because
Exactly.
I don't understand, why would you want to make someone sad? You know, I think that's not nice.
That's just their process of healing, which is not really
Yeah,
good,
but it's just like
honestly. Yeah.
to puke negativity and hatred, to spread that this much hate that some people do. It's just, I don't get it. It's so unnecessary. I
Yeah.
think you should try to be nice, and you try to be a kind person, and hopefully people will be nicer people. And I
Yeah.
think kids that grow up today with social media and the social media cyberbullying, this is something that wasn't very happening when I was a teenager. It wasn't such it wasn't common, but now it is, and I think it's horrible.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely disgusting that the people, you know, you lie in bed at home if you're a kid, and then you could get, your bully comes into your phone. It's,
Yeah.
what is that?
It's just, and also I spoke to some other artists, and female artists as well, and it's not really, I am not really comfortable with the way they were treated. They were treated terribly. And you know, as I said, like, everyone has freedom to write and do whatever they want on the internet, but how does it affect other artists and people in general? I think people should be accountable for the things they do, because it's not really okay that you can write some person that the person should kill themselves, and you
I
get
know.
away with it. It's not okay. It's not healthy environment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's just horrible. I mean, why? Why do you feel the need to tell someone, oh, you should go and kill yourself, you're so ugly and I hate you and what you do, or whatever it might be? I don't understand why people have the urge to force this upon others.
Yeah, the worst thing ever is that in some, you know, environments, it is considered to be normal. We like, okay, like, get used to it. No, something has to be done. And like, my way of thinking is, I think we should try creating and, you know, projecting a lot of positive energy. And because what you, you know, what you send, you get back. That's how the universe works, I believe, you know. And that's why I just wanted to create this channel to talk about those important things and to support more people who deserve, you know, more attention. And I think I agree with you on that, to create more beautiful energy and some more healthy environment than we have already, you know, right?
Yeah, you should try to be positive, and you know, nice and kind to strangers and people in your life. I think that is a winning strategy.
Yeah, I like the way people are mostly at the concerts. Like, everyone is, you know, dancing and singing, and I'm like, why they're not like that every day? Like, it can be nice, you know.
For sure, that would be nice. Waiting for a bus at the bus stop, they go like that.
Yeah, I'd be like that, you know, with my headphones, and I'm just kind of jamming on the street, and people be like, "What's wrong with her?" Like, I don't care.
Nothing.
You
Nothing's
cannot get
wrong.
me.
Yeah, if they heard your music, they would totally understand.
Yeah, definitely. And tell me about some of your, you know, important influences and that help you transform your ideas into music. What are your biggest influences? Okay, you mentioned Björk, right? I remember.
Well,
PJ, right? PJ Harvey.
Through her, I was able to connect with my own voice, and this is such a long time ago, but I realized that you could use your vocals like any other instrument. You don't just need to sing. You can sing however you want, and you should not be afraid to do ugly sounds and raspy, screechy sounds. You can just do whatever you please. And this was very eye-opening for me as a teenager. And also that on some of her 90s remixes, she actually redid the vocals. I collected a lot of CDs from the 90s with her singles, and there would be like a remix of a song, and someone had done like the instrumental remix, and she actually she's been singing it in a totally different way. And to me, this was like, yes, you can do that as well. And so she taught me so much. I would like to say that she's the best music teacher I had ever had. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's my
you should-
relationship to Björk.
Oh, nice. So yeah, you should be open, definitely. I recently, started getting into singing,
Mhm.
but I have big breathing problem techniques. I mean, I have problems with breathing techniques.
Mhm.
It's so like I don't even know how to breathe. I mean, I don't know how to breathe, honestly. And
It might be that
huge.
because when I was
Yeah,
taking like lessons when I was younger, and
yeah,
they tell you how you should think about breathing, then you get kind of I choked, and I felt locked in.
yeah.
But breathing is kind of essential. So eventually it will just fall into place. You will breathe when you are out of air. So just try not to think about it.
Yeah, it's
I think
hardest thing. Yeah,
yeah, it's just if you hold out the long note, eventually you're gonna run out of air, and then it's gonna come naturally that you go to get some more air in.
yeah, it's like I know the rules and what I should do, but
Mhm.
when it comes into practice, it will like, oh, okay. It's a long road, I guess.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you keep at it. You're just practicing, and I think also the key is just to not you have to have the guts to try, and
yeah,
it's okay to fail. The first
yeah,
time you're going to practice like a high pitched scream, you're not gonna nail it. It's gonna sound crappy as hell, but eventually you're going to nail it, and then you've been working with your vocal cords, and suddenly you can achieve it. So just go all in, practice a lot,
yeah. I
never
I do. Yeah,
hesitate. Because
yeah,
when
but
you hesitate, then you don't take. Sometimes you fail to take the note if you hesitate. If you go like, yeah, I was, I don't know. Then if you hesitate,
it reflects on your performance, I
yeah,
guess,
you will
right?
not succeed. You should just
Yeah,
all in, drive
yeah.
drive straight into the wall.
Surprisingly, I was way better with screaming and growling, believe me or not, because
Hmm.
I have all that rage and I really don't wanna, I don't wanna, reflect that on other people. I was just like, okay, I'm going to the forest right now and I'm just gonna scream the hell out of me. And I recorded it naturally and I sent it to my friend who is in a death metal band, our death
Mhm.
metal band, in fact. They're great, great. You probably heard of them. And he was like, what the fuck? You are scaring me. I didn't expect it.
I can relate to that. Sometimes after we've done a
Yeah,
show, people come up and or they don't dare to come up, and some people
yeah,
get really scared.
yeah.
Um, that's quite funny.
Yeah, you have that interesting scream I've never heard before, which is excellent. I mean, it's very well combined with all the transitions and the melodies, It's kind of a clean scream when you go up, but not like really not a growl. I cannot say it's kind of cry scream as far as I know. It's kind of perfectly clean scream. How do you do that?
Oh, I thought you was talking about something you did. I'm
No, no,
sorry.
no, no. About your scream in the songs, like in certain
Is
songs,
it like
yeah,
a high pitched,
yeah.
very in your face sound?
It's like insanely good, honestly.
Mm. I think some of the sounds are influenced by Swedish folk music. Some of
Yeah.
my sounds, there is like a technique called kulning, when you call over the mountains to sort of collect all the cows. You need them to
Oh,
come home, and this is what I do is not exactly that, but it flirts a bit with that. So I think that is might be the sound you're talking about. I'm not
Yeah,
really sure.
it's amazing, definitely. Yeah, it really adds to the atmosphere. Yeah.
Thank you.
And also I must mention about the artwork. I mean, it's so, so, so great. What can you say about that? About the artwork, I mean, in general, on the previous releases and on this one?
Yes, we've been working with two artists for a long time. One is French, and his name is Yu. I'm sure that that's not the way to pronounce it in French, but that is how I say his name.
Okay.
Fantastic. He made the album cover for the first EP we released and also for Myriad. And so we work with him, and he's very good. And then we have like the single artworks, and the t-shirt artwork is a guy in Spain called Jon Velda, and he is a very good artist as well. And he's working with us, and with him on the t-shirt designs. I actually have a conversation because the artwork is from a lyric. It's adds to the lyric, so it's like the exoskeleton is this. Sorry, this is really hard to say in English, but I will try to do my best. So I talk about this is the lyric, and I send him the lyric, and I talk about it and what I think about it, and he adds to that, and he tells me some, for example, about the symbolism in flowers, and then he works in some flowers into the artwork, and he just every time he nails it. Fantastic and super nice as well. And with Yurio as well on the Myriad album, the artwork is actually Mammon. So the god of greed in our version is a woman riding up from the underworld on a not a gigantic wolf, but a lynx, of course. But it's like a legged lynx with a longer tail. And she has a portal, and she can travel through dimensions to enslave humanity to greed. And of course, the temple where she keeps all her money.
Interesting concept. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't wait. I hope I will be able to come to Budapest to see you. I'm really hoping to do that.
Oh, I hope so too. It would be so nice to meet you in person.
Yeah, definitely. I hope I will be able to reach you there, though. Are you staying at the merch table?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Because I was also mentioning, because sadly I couldn't see any of the bands I mentioned you at the merch table, because they were in a rush. It's how it looks like for a lot of bands. So I can't wait, to possibly to buy some merch. I have already seen certain things on the website, so I'm already,
Very nice. Starting with like a shopping list in your head. I like it.
You know how we women function, actually,
Yes.
I
meant
prepare.
Yeah.
Even shopping list, I prepare it all in advance, like,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's very nice. No, it would be so nice to meet you in person, and I know the guys in the band would like to meet you as well. You super lady, so nice to talk to you.
Oh,
I'm so happy that you reached out to us and we were able to put this together so we can have a little chat.
Yeah, thank you so much. You're amazing too, and I thought I would be more nervous, but all this conversation was super relaxing to me, and which makes things easier, and I'm not really that nervous anymore.
Well, it's very good. I think sometimes when you talk to someone, it's very good because you add your thoughts and your you have a lot of thoughts that and you tell me, and then I answer to that, and hopefully I do the same, and that's how we have a conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's great. And tell me, do you have like secret, maybe a little bit weird question, do you have a secret desire to, have some kind of a side project, or even to create something totally opposite from what you are doing right now? Like, I have those crazy ideas. Oh, I'm just gonna, if I was an artist, I would be like, this, that. Do you get those ideas? Like, okay, today I'm gonna do some rapping, like whatever. You
For
have that,
sure.
maybe. Do you have that on your mind right now?
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think I always wanted to play rock and stoner rock in particular. I'm a sucker for the warm, fuzzy guitar sound, and it's just amazing music. I listened to Caius for such a long time, and
Oh
it's
my God, Caius, it's like I rarely, do you believe me how hard it is to meet people who are into that band? I believe there are so many people who are, but I don't meet any of them. And when I do, I was like, damn, like I can't believe I totally like praise that person. Yeah,
you
they
should
did.
come to my part of Sweden. We have a stoner. There is a small stoner festival in like a sand pit, and
Wow.
it's just every band who plays is super good, and it's such a nice festival. So you should really check it out. It's called the Krökbacken Festival.
Wow.
It's in Leksand in Sweden. It's
Nice.
top notch.
Nice. Yeah, well, you gave me a lot of info, a lot of things to think about. Yeah. Nice. There are some other bands too. For example, I think Greece has also some good stoner, stoner rock
Mhm.
and metal bands. Not sure you probably heard of 1000 Mods. They're just great.
Yeah. You have to give me like a playlist later so I can check out all
Yeah.
the music tips you have.
Yeah, I will definitely. Yeah, whenever I discovered,
Okay.
that's how I discovered you through the Spotify. I'm not
Mm.
sure. I think I was listening to Caius, and then you have all those suggestions, and then
Mm.
I heard your band, and I was like, oh my God, like yeah, that's how I got into you exactly.
It's very good with those algorithms that suggest
Yeah,
music you might like. I think a lot of people find a lot of music
yeah,
nowadays. It's much more easy to find new music as well, because
yeah,
when I was younger, when you had slower internet connections, and to download a song, it took like 24 hours, and if someone would lift the phone, then the connection was broken and you have to
yeah.
start over. But nowadays, you could just well, the world is your oyster. I like that.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, it's very good. I like Spotify because you can learn about so many bands, and it's just pure music and chilling, like no hating. That's why I like it. You know what I mean? It's just like my safe space. But also, as I said, I noticed that there are so many great bands that don't get that much attention as they deserve. And
Mm,
that's why exactly I just created that channel, to, put more attention to those bands as well.
mm.
It's like so many good things, good bands, but not all of them, get bigger. And that's kind of a sad. But I do believe you have a great scene in Sweden. What was it like for you there? I mean, other bands, and for you, I feel you have a great fan base there. What is it like?
It's quite common for Swedish bands to be better recognized abroad than in Sweden.
Oh,
So
I see.
we have a little fan base here, but we're not very well known in Sweden.
Oh,
Um, so, but we have a lovely fan base abroad as well, and this is why we're so psyched to go out on tour finally, to play outside of Sweden, and meet people and connect with people and meet them at the merch table and talk to them and everything. So yeah, so I think for a lot of metal bands and rock bands in Sweden are they have like a bigger and stronger fan base in outside of Sweden than in Sweden. We don't have a lot of magazines, for example, that focus on rock music. But in Europe, there is a lot of magazines. So that is one thing, for example.
yeah,
So
interesting. Yeah, And tell me something about that COVID period, which was very hard for a lot of bands. I heard a lot of bands, talked to a lot of musicians, a lot of bands, gave up. They just couldn't go through that period. But also, it was ironically a surprisingly creative process, for a lot of them as well. And for you too, as far as I know, it turned out to be good. What can you say about that?
Well, Sweden didn't have a lockdown. A lot of places in the world had like a very strict lockdown, and we didn't have this in that way. Me, for example, I went to work as usual in the bookstore. It was just more important to keep distance and to wash your hands and everything. But for us, it was very unfortunate because we had, I think it was like 3 tours in Europe that we had to cancel.
Oh my God.
That was a blow. That was you get depressed. Come on. It's very disappointing when everything just no, it's not gonna happen. All right, what do we do now? But we had but it was okay because none of us got sick, so that is
Great.
Very good, and you should be thankful for that, and our families as well. They managed all right through the pandemic, and that is fantastic. And then we got in contact with the nuclear blast, and that was really cool.
That's what I wanted to ask you about that for the end. I hope that was a huge thing. You were naturally recognized because you are awesome. And I suppose you are satisfied with that, I guess, right?
Oh yeah, they're super nice to us. Yeah, and when you sign with the label, you're always a bit nervous that some dude is gonna come in and say you have to look like this, you have to sound like this, you have to change a lot. This didn't happen, and they just we get to do what we do, and they're super nice. We have a fantastic team, like you met Arne, super nice team, and they help us out. So we're very happy with them for sure.
Yeah, that's nice. It really looked like that, definitely. And I'm glad that you can stay yourself instead of trying to fit into something you're not. You're just staying true
it's
to
important,
yourself.
I think.
Naturally,
music will evolve, and artists and musicians will do the music will change over time for most bands, because you evolve and you change as a human being as well. But it's very good not to be forced into being something that you are not.
Exactly.
That would be, I think that would be like a nail in the coffin, that then you wouldn't want to keep on doing what you do if you were forced into doing something else.
I understand that totally. So tell me, if you have some kind of a message to your fans, or you want to announce something important, it would be great.
Oh yes, if you have if you haven't heard the latest album Myriad, please check it out. You can buy it.
I did.
Very nice. You can buy it on a vinyl in our web shop, and we will close our shop for May because we're going on tour with Uncle Acid and Blood Ceremony through Europe. So if you have the time and possibility to catch a show, please do it, and please come and talk to us. That would be super. Yeah.
Oh, I will definitely. I will do my best to find that stuff. I will make it.
I'm counting on it to meet you. For sure, that's gonna happen.
Nice. Of course, we will stay in touch. I will definitely send you some artists you mentioned. Yeah, we will stay. Not sure how to exchange the contacts here, though. Maybe
you can just the email that you wrote us, the band mail. Just write there, and I will answer you.
Oh, nice. Super cool. Super cool. So it was really lovely, and thank you for making this easier. I mean, I was like very nervous, but I watched your interviews. I saw you were a great person, and that was really, it was like I really waited for this so long, and it paid off. I hope you felt that too.
It was fantastic to meet you. So nice to chat with you
Likewise.
today, and I'm so glad that you reached out and that we managed to put this together, because it was an absolute pleasure to talk to you as well. You did a spectacular job.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Thank
And
you.
I wish
thank
you the best of luck with your YouTube channel. This is going to be
Thank
a
you.
smash.
I hope so.
I'm gonna get you in contact with some other female musicians. Maybe you can interview them as well.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I can't wait to do that, honestly. Yeah. Thank you so much. And of
Thank
course,
you.
I will write later. And have a nice rest of the evening.
Yes,
Yes.
you as well. And have a lovely weekend.
Yeah, you too. You too. So stay well and talk to you later.
See you in May.
See you. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.